My grandmother Vera raised 9 children in Holler in eastern Kentucky, 40 miles from the nearest doctor. No pharmacy, no urgent care, just what she grew, what she dried, and what her mother had taught her. Every winter, when the chest colds came, and they always came, nobody in that house stayed sick for long. 9 kids, 1 holler, 40 years. I used to think it was luck. She had a protocol. 3 things, all from her kitchen. I'm going to show you exactly what they were. Vera Mae Combs was born in 1921 in Harlan County, Kentucky. She never went to medical school. She never read a research paper, but she learned from her mother, who learned from hers, going back to before anyone in that county had ever seen a hospital. What I'm going to share today is what Vera taught me, and where relevant, I'll mention what some researchers have looked into. Not to tell you these remedies cure anything. I'm not a doctor, and neither was Vera, but because the history of these plants is worth knowing, and some of it turns out to be more interesting than you'd expect. The first thing Vera reached for when a cold hit the chest, not the throat, not the sinuses, the chest, was a plant most people walk past without a second glance. Mullein, Verbascum thapsus. It grows wild all over Appalachia, 6 feet tall in late summer. Leaves so soft they feel like velvet. Vera dried them every August and kept them in a cloth sack above the stove. When someone's cough had dropped from the throat into the chest, that deep rattling cough that won't move, that's when the mullein came down. Now, here's the thing about a chest cold that Vera seemed to understand instinctively. The problem isn't the cough itself. The cough is your body trying to move something that won't move. Mucus that has thickened and settled. Most remedies focus on quieting the cough. Vera's instinct was to move what was causing it. The cough is not the problem. The stuck mucus is the problem. Vera went after the mucus. Mullein has a long history of use for respiratory complaints across many traditions, not just Appalachian. It contains compounds called saponins and mucilage, and some herbalists and researchers have looked at whether these might help ease congestion. German Commission E, Europe's traditional herbal medicine body, has included mullein in its monographs for respiratory complaints. That's not the same as a clinical trial, but it does mean this plant has been taken seriously for a long time. Here's how she made it. Strain it carefully. The fine hairs on the leaves need to come out before you drink it. Add raw honey and hold on to that thought, because we'll come back to the honey. 2 to 3 cups a day at the first sign of chest congestion. Vera always said, brew it strong and drink it hot. Whether it's the mullein or the steam or just the ritual of it, she swore nothing worked faster. Every September, before the first frost, Vera and her daughters walked the fence line. The elderberries came in right around them, dark purple, hanging in flat clusters. They picked everything the bushes had. By October, there was a row of dark jars in the root cellar. Each one was her elderberry syrup. And from November through March, every person in that house took a tablespoon in the morning. Every single morning. Now, I want to be straight with you about elderberry. Because there's a lot of noise online. People claiming it cures flu, cures colds, cures everything. That's not what the research shows. And frankly, Vera wouldn't have trusted anyone who oversold something. What I can tell you is this. Elderberry is one of the more studied plants in the traditional medicine world. There are some trials that have looked at whether it might support the body during cold and flu season. Results have been mixed and encouraging in roughly equal measure. Some researchers think there's something worth investigating further. Others want bigger, better trials before drawing conclusions. That's where the science is right now. Genuinely uncertain and genuinely interesting. What I know for certain is this. Vera made this every September for 40 years, and she watched winter illness move through the country every year. She just didn't watch it move through her house. Make of that what you will. One thing I want to be very clear about, and this is not a gray area. Never eat raw elderberries. Raw berries, leaves, and bark contain compounds that will make you ill. They must be cooked. Always. This is non-negotiable. Make it in September. Use it all winter. 1 tablespoon every morning as part of your seasonal routine. Vera's recipe. Not complicated, not expensive. She spent 2 hours in September so the whole family could breathe easier in February. The third one is the one I said we'd come back to. And it is, on the surface, the simplest thing I'm going to tell you today. 2 ingredients. Nothing else. Raw honey and black pepper. Vera kept a jar of local raw honey on the counter all winter. Not the plastic beer from the grocery store. Raw, unfiltered, from a local beekeeper. The kind that's still got pollen in it. The kind that's slightly cloudy. She never explained why that distinction mattered. It just always had to be the real thing. Here's something worth sitting by. Why does almost every grandmother in almost every culture on earth reach for honey when someone has a cough? British grandmothers, Indian grandmothers, Appalachian grandmothers, all of them. Honey. Is that coincidence? A 2007 study out of Penn State looked at honey alongside dextromethorphan, the active ingredient in almost all commercial cough syrups. It was a small study and it had limitations, but the results were interesting enough that researchers thought it was worth paying attention to. The World Health Organization lists honey as a demulcent, meaning something that coats and soothes mucous membranes. That's not a cure claim. It's an acknowledgement that there may be something to the tradition. Vera didn't need a study to tell her that, but I think she'd have appreciated knowing the World Health Organization at least agrees with her in principle. Now, the black pepper. This is the part Vera never explained. She just said it. Add fresh cracked pepper. Black pepper contains a compound called piperin. Some researchers have looked at piperin for anti-inflammatory properties in laboratory settings. Whether that translates to drinking it in honey is genuinely unknown. But here's what I noticed. She was combining things deliberately. She had reasons. She just couldn't name the chemistry. She just knew. 3 things: mullein, elderberry, honey, and pepper. Vera made all 3 from scratch every year. I can't promise you these will work the same way they worked for her. I'm not a doctor. Nobody in this channel is offering medical advice. What I can tell you is what she did, and that people have been doing variations of these things for a very long time. If you want all 47 of Vera's remedies, including the ones I couldn't fit in today, I put them all into one book. Every remedy includes the historical background, research notes where they exist, and honest language about where the evidence is strong and where it's limited. The link is in the description. It's called Vera's Medicine Cabinet. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.